Everyone wants the result, the body, the success, the followers, the freedom. But when it comes time to do the work, to grind in silence, to sweat when no one's clapping, suddenly, the motivation disappears. The truth? Everyone loves the finish line, but almost no one is willing to run the race. It's easy to post the after picture. It's fun to talk about achievements. But what about the early mornings when your alarm rings and you want nothing more than 5 more minutes? What about those lonely nights when everyone else is relaxing and you're buried in work, self-doubt creeping in? That's the process. That's the part no one wants to talk about. But here's the cold reality. You don't get the result without the process. There's no shortcut, no hack, no secret pill that replaces persistence. What separates the winners from the rest isn't talent or luck. It's the willingness to suffer through the process, to embrace it, to love the grind when there's no spotlight, no recognition, no guarantee. Think about anything meaningful in life. Building a strong body? That's not about one intense workout. It's about years of consistency, of lifting when you don't feel like it, of saying no to the junk food when it's calling your name. Building wealth? That's not just a lucky investment or flashy paycheck. It's late nights studying, failed attempts, learning lessons through losses, showing up every day when it would be easier to quit. We admire the millionaire, but forget the 15 years they spent broke and ignored. We see the athlete's highlight reel, but never the hours they spent practicing moves alone in a quiet gym. We listen to the motivational speaker, but forget that voice was shaped by heartbreak, loss, and years of being unheard. The process is unglamorous. That's why people run from it. It's boring, it's repetitive, it's painful. It asks you to give everything with no promise of a reward. But here's the paradox. Those who fall in love with the process always win, not just because they reach their goal, but because they become stronger through the journey. Everyone wants confidence, but no one wants to go through the rejection, the failures, the awkward conversations, the public embarrassments that build it. Everyone wants discipline, but few are willing to wake up at 5 a.m. for months on end, when there's no applause, no likes, no validation. People dream of writing books, launching businesses, getting fit, learning new skills. But they want to skip the ugly middle, the hours spent alone, the setbacks, the uncertainty, and that's the catch. The middle is where your character is forged. It's where the transformation happens. The process isn't a detour. It is the path. We live in a world addicted to outcomes. Fast food, instant updates, next day delivery. But the most valuable things in life don't follow that timeline. Growth takes time, mastery takes years, and greatness, it demands more than most are willing to give. See, wanting the result doesn't make you unique. Everyone wants something. The question is, who's willing to sacrifice for it? Who's willing to show up every single day, regardless of how they feel? Who's willing to keep going when the progress is invisible, when the support is gone, when the doubt is loud? That's where winners are born. Not in moments of glory, but in moments of grit. The result is just a reflection of how much pain you are willing to endure behind closed doors. Let's be real. The process doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care if you're tired, busy, uninspired, or unlucky. It demands your effort anyway. That's what makes it so powerful. Because it humbles everyone. It filters out the pretenders. You can't fake consistency. You can't fake resilience. And if you think the process should feel good every day, you're already losing. It's not supposed to be easy. That discomfort is the price of admission. That's the currency of change. The people who succeed aren't those who always feel motivated. They're the ones who take action despite not feeling ready. They train when they're tired. They study when they're bored. They work when they're doubting themselves. They accept the process for what it is, a furnace that burns away weakness and builds something solid in its place. If you want the result, you have to stop romanticizing the destination and start respecting the road. You can't wish for greatness and avoid everything that creates it. You can't want growth without facing resistance. You can't become your best self by staying comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Every time you avoid the hard thing, you rob yourself of the very growth you claim to want. The process is uncomfortable by design. That's how it works. That's how it molds you into someone different than who you were yesterday. So stop searching for shortcuts. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop envying others' results while ignoring the work they did to get there. Start doing the boring work. It's the difficult work, the consistent, thankless, repetitive work. That's where the magic is. Want to get fit? Show up at the gym when you're exhausted? Eat clean when no one's watching? Track your progress when the scale mocks you. That's the process. Want to grow financially? Study when it's easier to scroll? Save when it's tempting to splurge? Invest when it's uncomfortable? Learn from mistakes instead of hiding from them. That's the process. Want to master a skill? Practice when it's dull. Fail publicly. Repeat drills until you're numb. That's the process. And yes, it's hard, but so is staying stuck. So is living with regret. So is watching others pass you by while you cling to excuses. So pick your hard, pick the process. Eventually, the same actions that feel impossible will become part of your identity. The same discomfort you once ran from will become your training ground. And the same pain that discouraged you will become the proof that you were on the right path all along. Success is never owned, it's rented, and rent is due every single day. The process is the landlord. If you're not paying, you're not progressing. So the next time you look at someone thriving, don't just admire the result. Ask yourself, am I willing to do what they did when no one was clapping? The process is the answer. Not the podcast clips, not the highlight reels, not the final chapter. It's the hours of unseen work. The days they wanted to quit, but didn't. The nights they cried, but kept showing up anyway. You'll never outdream your work ethic. You can visualize all day. But if you don't put in the reps, it's just fantasy. Dreams don't work unless you do, and guess what? You're allowed to outwork people. That's your edge. That's your secret weapon. You don't have to be the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected. You just have to be willing to endure what others won't. The more pain you're willing to carry, the more progress you'll make. That's the trade. That's the deal. So stop looking for ease. Stop chasing comfort. Start chasing excellence. Start leaning into the things that make you uncomfortable. Because the more you lean into the pain, the closer you get to power. At the end of the day, the process reveals who's serious. Anyone can want, anyone can wish, but only a few will commit. Only a few will endure. Be one of the few. Wake up, show up, and do the work. Every single day. No fanfare, no applause. Just relentless effort. Because in a world full of people chasing results, the one who embraces the process always wins.